You are a selfish protagonist. What do I mean by this, and how does it pertain to heathenry? We are all the protagonists of our own story. Doesn't matter who you are, every single one of us sees ourselves as the center of our own story. A lot of us will go through our lives seeing ourselves as almost the centers of our own little universes, like only our experiences matter, and not really accounting the perception and experiences and responsibilities and schedules of others. So you're going through traffic, somebody cuts you off, right? Well, they're not intending to irritate you. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. They care about their goal. Where are they driving to? All motivations, no matter how altruistic you think you might be, are selfish at their core. Let's say you want to give to the homeless. You are relating to another human being that is in a situation that if you were in, you would want somebody to help you. Likewise, you may see certain things being done in society as positive for society as a whole, and since you're in society, that affects you, right? One of the reasons you don't cut people off in traffic and just be a total prick is because society wouldn't function if we all acted that way. If you're unfamiliar with the id, ego, and superego, I believe this was Sigmund Freud that came up with this, and this is one of the few things that he created that, as far as I know anyway, is still considered valid. Well, so you have the id, the ego, and the superego. The id is your emotional responses. That is, I want to feel good, I don't want to feel bad, pretty simply. The superego is the learned behavior. So like, let's say you're at a friend's house and they're eating cake, right? It looks like delicious cake. You want that cake. Your id will be like, I want it, I need to grab it, I'm going to take it from them. Your superego, on the other hand, says, no, that's wrong, we have an established bond with this person, I need to respect that bond in order for the things to progress. It could even be in there a little bit because you have eventualities that would be worse for you if the social bond was broken, right? And then the ego is just simply the driver's seat. That's you. That's your perceived willpower, your perceived free will. There is a bit of a determinist argument in there if you want to go deeper into it. I personally believe that we have limited free will, but that's not this topic. And how does this pertain to heathenry? Quite simply, it pertains to everything. And really, any religious path, any path, period, religious or not, should involve the self. It should involve self-realizations. It should involve understanding who you are. It should make you better. Why do you want to be better? Well, it benefits you. If people perceive you as somebody beneficial to them, because they are also selfish and their own protagonists, those social bonds you've created will benefit you. So it's not a bad thing to be selfish when you realize that that's what society is. Society is a system of cohabitation in selfishness. Even the most bleeding heart, lefty, pinko commie, whatever, the person who's furthest to the extremity of we need to give and who cares if we all live in poverty as long as we're equal and happy, whatever that person would be, whatever the extremity of that ideology is, they benefit from being in that society as well. Obviously you can argue against, socialism and all that other stuff, but that's not the point. The point is that those ideas that they have are selfish at their core. So as you go through life and you just deal with life's problems and all that, you got to realize that you're not special. Everybody else is also their own protagonist. You are not a beautiful and unique snowflake. You are the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world, to quote the great Tyler Durden. That isn't to say you don't have value, of course. There's a fairly old saying that if everybody's special, nobody's special, because special is unique, right? Your value is based on the effort you put into yourself. So don't think, oh, woe is me, and once you realize and break down all your altruistic, goody-goody, whatever's assets about yourself, and realize that they can all be broken down into selfish components. Society has benefited from people being selfish. it has also been hurt by people being selfish. But I would argue that when you see people take advantage, when you see people in this internet age, you see a lot of people lying. In fact, yesterday morning, my wife pointed out this one gal that made a parody on the This Is America by Childish Gambino, Donald Glover. She made like a woman's version. It turns out she was Canadian. The internet put her on blast. So ultimately, the people that are selfish and don't realize that you have to be selfish in a good way. Like, I know that as a manager of about, give or take, 25 people, I haven't counted it lately, but it's usually around there, if not close to it. I know that if my workers are happy, I will get better performance out of them. That obviously means if they're paid better, if they have better benefits, if the work environment's better, if the work environment's safer. I know we're security, but there are certain things in place, certain parameters, certain backup systems, certain gear you can carry that makes them feel safer. And if we provide a better service, then obviously the client will see that, and that benefits everybody, right? Whereas if you're selfish in the way where you're like, oh, I need to make the most money for myself, but screw these other people. Or like, oh, I'm going to have the worst benefits package so that nobody buys into it, even though it's legally required right now. You're just like bottom of the barrel. Just as an example, not that my company's doing this at all, but things that I've seen, bad uniforms, low wages, obviously, is a pretty big one. Having all those things, your morale goes down. And then that is not good for you. So there are selfish reasons to fork out a little bit extra money, to have the better uniforms, to have a safer work environment. Think about it when I say at the end of these videos, be better tomorrow than you were yesterday. And we are the sum of our actions. Think about what that means. Think about the honor, the reputation that you have. How does your kindred perceive you? How do your friends perceive you? How does your family perceive you? How does your work perceive you? Are you somebody that lets down the team? If you are, then they're less likely to support you. Again, that's something selfish. So please comment down below if you disagree, if you have more to say on the subject. Skull.